Question number one. Please tell us about yourself. What are your interests and hobbies? Hi, my name is Kyei Baffour. I'm a resource teacher at St. Stephen Anglican School Complex. I hold first degree in community-based rehabilitation and disability studies and masters in special education. I have a very huge interest in doing humanitarian services and supporting my community. I also like to assist self-help groups such as parents with children with disability. My hobbies are reading educational journals, disability articles, rehabilitation articles, and also playing soccer. Question number two. What motivated you to become a teacher for the subject for which you are applying? My motivation for becoming a teacher started when I was doing voluntary service in one of the villages in central region, Ghana. I met a 9-year-old child who was suffering from cerebral palsy with developmental delay. His name was Asante, and Asante was left alone and behind in his class. I got closer to him, and then I spoke to the teacher and spoke to their parents. Both didn't have much understanding about the condition that Asante was facing. They had no knowledge about disability. That was how come Asante was left behind. So I got closer to Asante and I started teaching him. I started providing with playing toys, cards, and all. With time and then consistent practice, I noticed that Asante was getting better gradually with his education. And from there, I developed interest in becoming a resource teacher, and I took a course called Rehabilitation and Disability Studies, and then I became a resource teacher to them. Question number three. Tell us about your involvement in extracurricular activities, what you could coach or supervise. Aside my daily tasks as a resource teacher at St. Stephen Anglican School Complex, I also double as a sports teacher and supervisor for um, drama and then debaters club. I train students for inter-schools sporting activities. I also train students for inter-schools quizzes and then debates. Question number four. What special education subjects have you taught and at what age or grade level? I'm a resource teacher for grade 2 to 4, which are students between the ages of 5 to 12. As a resource teacher, I cover a wide range of subjects based on the needs of students. I teach I teach subjects such as numeracy, literacy, and computer studies. I help students with dyscalculia to know the basic concepts in addition, multiplication, and subtraction. I also help students who are suffering from dyslexia to read and write using the Sounds Right program to better of their understanding about comprehension and also blend words to be able to form sentences and develop writing techniques. I also help them to develop problem solving techniques. Question number 5. How do you prepare to teach your lesson and what do your lesson include? Before I begin my lesson, I start with a fun starter activity. This is to get the students active or reinforce their mind so that they welcome the topic that we are about to teach well without facing boredom during the lessons. Afterwards, I group students into group of 3, that is the high functioning, medium functioning, and then needs more help using the differentiational approach. This is to enable me to have equal time for each and every student in class, regardless of your level of performance. And then with the lesson plan, I collaborate with the class teachers and also the parents of the wards or the kids to develop an IEP, which is an individualized educational plan that meets each and every student's educational needs. Question number 6. Talk about 2 teaching strategies or methods that you effectively use in classroom. First of all, I like to use the grouping because I believe that equal participation and involvement brings out the best in every student. There shouldn't be uh, uh, there shouldn't be a way where the class will be centered at a particular location in the class. Maybe the right corner, these people seated at the right corner, they are very active. When they ask questions, they put up their hand and then they answer. They are always answering questions, they are always asking questions. No, students are being grouped in my class so that tasks will be given based or according to groups, and everybody in the group will perform an equal task. At the end of the day, it ensures and then brings about the involvement of every student in class. Secondly, I use the multisensorial approach. This also helps me to bring audio visual aids to class that allows us to let the student have a hands-on practice on almost everything. It also helps me to bring learning games to class that students can have tactile feeling and then have interactions with the things that we use in learning. They can have a feel of what we are using in to teach them. Okay, the placard, the words, like the alphabet, the colors, whatever you want to bring it so students can feel and touch. Okay, the multisensorial allows you to use the sight, the sense of sight, the sense of touch, the sense of movement, the smell. This approach also helps me as a teacher to be able to get a better understanding of if the students are following or they are learning or they are getting exactly what I'm teaching in their class. It helps me to teach them. Question number 7. When someone enters your classroom, describe the learning activities in which students are engaging. First thing that you will see in my class is demonstrational activities. Okay, I love students who practice what they see, who practice what they are taught, who demonstrate what they are being taught in classroom. So first thing you will see is group presentations. In the group, everybody will demonstrate what they call, or they will say what they were taught in class. Let's say they are being grouped into 3, and I say first group, go and pick letter B. The whole group will work and go and pick the letter B and show it to the class. Second group will go and pick letter C and they will do the same thing. Third group, the same thing. So what you will see in my class mostly is group presentation, group demonstration, and group activities. That is what you will see most in my class, because I believe that each child has an equal opportunity to participate. Nobody has much time. Nobody's going to give extra time. We all work together at the same time, and then together we move. That is how I also drive my my methods, teaching methods from. So with this, it has helped me. No student is left behind. We all get involved and move at equal pace at the same time. Question number 8. What method do you use to evaluate your students' progress? I use observation a lot to evaluate my students' progress. I use parent input and consent form, because you see sometimes parents will go like, my child is performing well in this particular subject, but my child is not performing well in this. For the past days, my child is doing well. Those things, they are the checklist that we use to assess and then also determine the progress, and not as in if a child is not progressing, we use those checklists as teachers, or that is what I use as a teacher to check the progress of my students. I also use the benchmark. Every school and every class has a benchmark for its students, and I use the class assessment records also to check the progress of my students. Question number 9. If you use technology in your teaching, describe how you incorporate it into your teaching, and describe any experience you have with smartboard. In Ghana, we don't use smartboard, but we use PowerPoint presentation in our teaching. This form of technology allows us to blend colors, pictures, videos, and sounds in our presentations or in our lessons. And at this point in time, I have grown to believe that children learn more by seeing, by touch, and by hearing. So PowerPoint is the technology that we use to teach in Ghana. Question number 10. If you have a student who are noisy or non-attentive, share ways you regain their attention without interrupting the lesson. I usually use the break-up in lessons to gain the attention, the full attention and participation of my students in my class. Let's say I am supposed to teach a particular lesson for 2 hours before the actual school break. I will break my lesson into 3. First 30 minutes, and then we will come out for an energizer or a fun activity for like 5 to 10 minutes, and come back again for the next 30 minutes, and come back for break, and then have an energizer again and come back for the last one before the last break. So that is what I do, and then to gain the full attention of my student, and that is what I will use. Secondly, I will use the engaging materials to get the full attention of my students in class. The engaging materials are the materials that we use in teaching or giving instructions to our students in classrooms. Let's say I want to teach about mouse. I'll bring the mouse to class, and then everybody will hold the mouse and have a touch of it and know that this is the shape of a mouse. This is how it looks, and this is how it feels. When you press this, how it looks. If I want to talk about phone, I'll bring it. Those are the engaging materials. These are what we are going to talk about, and this is what we are treating. We are treating phone. This is phone, so that you know, and then you have a feel and touch of it. Okay. So in the same way, I bring placards, paper cards, the letters. If it is football, I bring the ball, because children learn more by touching, by seeing, and by doing. So if you bring these engaging materials, they are not going to sit and just be lectured or be spoken to for a very long time, then they start feeling bored, and the lesson becomes lengthy and you see everybody sleeping. No, I bring the engaging materials to class, and children have a fun and have a feel of it, so that everybody will participate equally. Question number 11. Describe the most difficult problem you have had to deal with as a teacher, and how did you resolve this problem? As a resource teacher, I encountered my most difficult challenge when I met a student who was suffering from dyslexia. He wasn't able to comprehend written text, and that affected his overall academic performance. I helped solve this problem by introducing multisensorial approach that allowed me to use audiovisual aids, hands-on activities, and auditory resources to reinforce learning. I also collaborated with the teachers of the child, the parents, and other specialists to develop an IEP that catered for the unique educational need of the child. We also introduced an assistive device, that is speech to text software, that helped him when he's reading. With time and then continuous effort, we noticed that the child made a huge progress, and we are all happy. Question number 12. Give an example to show that you are a flexible person and that you can make changes to your teaching methods. As a resource teacher, your most qualified trait that you should have is being flexible, because you should understand that students has unique learning abilities and understanding level. So when you are teaching a particular class and you notice that the students are not understanding what you are teaching, you should be able to adjust and re-strategize your teaching approaches or teaching strategies to suit the level of understanding of the student. And you can also seek the advice or the help of other teachers that teaches the same class on how they have been able to deal with or handle situations like that. When you are able to do this, I bet you can ensure that you can facilitate the progress and then understanding of your class, and that will lead to a best teaching practice as a resource teacher. Thank you.